So I'd like to just take a moment to introduce Reverend Aliza. Reverend Aliza Bloom Robinson, she was ordained in 2000. She calls herself a quantum catalyst, helping people to lean into and embody their soul brilliance. She is the best-selling author of 3 popular books available on Amazon, and she is an in-demand speaker for events around the globe. She serves as an interim minister and transitional consultant for Unity Worldwide, and right now she's working with 2 different ministries, one in North Carolina and one in Springfield, Illinois, not Springfield, Missouri. And as I mentioned, she's on the faculty for Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute. So streaming live from Arkansas today, we welcome you again, Reverend Aliza.
Awesome, very good. Thank you, David. So today I'm talking about divine paradox. The quantum world, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum field lined up with unity principles. Where are they paradoxical? Where are they in alignment? What's the deal? Can we interchange our language with that? So I wanted to begin with a description of paradox. I can explain paradox. It is a pair of ducks sitting on a lake. I can't hear your laughter, but I'm sure you're chuckling. Or maybe you're groaning. I'm not sure which one. Or how about Swiss cheese? Swiss cheese in itself is paradoxical. Think about it. Swiss cheese has a lot of holes. The more holes you have, the more cheese you have. The more cheese you have, the more holes you have. Thus, the more cheese you have, the less cheese you have. Wait, what? That's the paradox. That's paradoxical. When we come across a truth that is like bumps up against a little bit, where you go, wait, what? That's a fabulous indicator that you're becoming paradoxical, or you're having a paradoxical thought. The thing about the paradox is both or all are actually true. So a few years ago, I wrote this book. You see, I'm trying to be Vanna White over here with 3 of my books from Amazon over here on display. I thought that was kind of clever. But the one I'm talking about today is called Paradox of Awakening, Finding Peace in a World of Chaos. These are all on Amazon. The back, I'm in Sedona saying, yes, we're here. But what I talk about in this book is how when we are spiritually awakening, when we are on our awakening journey, we bump up against many actually paradoxes. So I talk about quite a few of them in the book. I'm sure there's more. But one of those paradoxes is that you have to do your awakening alone and you can't do it alone. Another is that a spiritual awakening is a destination, but it's also a journey. Or is it a destination? Because it is a journey. So I want to lay out some different paradoxes today as it relates to our unity principles. So as I define paradox in this book, I say it's a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that when investigated or explained may prove to be well-founded or true. The first lesson from quantum physics, well, let me say this with a caveat. I am not a quantum physicist. I am a spiritual nerd. I'm a little far out there woo-woo wise, but I love quantum science. I love how science has caught up with and given us words and language for the spiritual experiences we're having. So given that, I just have to say caveat. So if I talk about quantum physics, that's like this, and I give it to you like this, you know that I'm using it as a parable, as an analogy, sort of, but I'm also taking the foundation. So the foundation, first principle of first lesson of quantum physics is that The world is participatory. What I mean by that is that things respond to being observed. When we observe something, we see it, and that makes it real, so to speak. The second one is that the universe behaves paradoxically. Unfortunately, our minds are not comfortable with the paradoxical situations because we've developed our minds, especially our subconscious minds, have developed in a binary fashion. We like rational, logical, lay it out, figure it out. That's what makes us comfortable. So when we lean into the paradoxical, we actually there's actually an anxiety that sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes will happen because we haven't developed the comfortableness of being in ambiguity and the ambiguity of unresolved situations in particular, which thereby leads us to accepting things that are win-lose rather than waiting for a win-win solution, or accepting something that's a quick fix in order to resolve our anxiety about it not being resolved yet. That's just what our brain does until we begin to awaken. It also means that, generally speaking, we are uncomfortable in the unknown. And we'll do everything in our power to get out of the unknown, including making stuff up. We're really good at making stuff up. We make up stories all day long about what things mean. And we do that in order to feel more comfortable. But the greatest gift in spiritual awakening, the greatest gift in any creative endeavor, is to step into the unknown, which is something that in my past history, I did not like. I wanted to know. I wanted to know. I wanted to know. I was very uncomfortable in the unknown. But through the work that I've done in my ministry since 2000, and actually even before that, through my spiritual initiation work, which I had a big journey around 2010 for a couple of years, where everything got churned up again, where it totally changed, totally became a different person because of my awakening work. But through all of that, what I discovered is that place of the unknown that used to be so uncomfortable for me is my most favorite place in the world right now. Why? Because it's the realm of the infinite. It's the realm of the unknown is the void, which means everything and anything is possible, which gets me out of my own brain. And I finally love when I lose my mind, because it frees me from my past and from my subconscious. So all of that is sort of given and why and supports my work as transitional minister, because I work primarily with ministries who are in transition. Generally speaking, that means they're between ministers, or a minister is about to retire, or they're getting ready to hire a new person. It can be some other things as well, but that's generally. But what I do in transition work is I invite people into a safe container so they can lean into the unknown. And when we lean into the unknown inside the body of my work called transition, we call that the gap between what we know and what we don't know, the gap between the ending of one thing and the beginning of another. And the more that we can lean into that, the more we access the quantum. And the quantum is what? The quantum is a field of energy. It can be called the kingdom of heaven, as Jesus used it. It can be called going to headquarters, as Charles Fillmore used it. It can be called the point of silence. It can be called the infinite possibilities and unlimited potential. It can be called the universe. It can be called source. It can be called creation. It is that which is. That is so much bigger than we can even imagine with our minds or our brains. The quantum is the word, the current word for possibility, if you will. Tesla said, one of my favorite people to quote right now, Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, begin to think in terms of vibration, energy, and frequency. And when I found that quote, when I saw that quote, which for the first time, which has been many years ago now, it landed in me. I went, that's exactly what I've been doing, but I didn't have the words for it. So as I began to play with this idea of the quantum and unity principles, let me just tell you what I did. Let me just share with you how they're one and the same. So our first principle, we work with 5 basic principles. Our first principle is, you said it already today, there's only one presence and one power active in the universe, God. And what did you say? In everyone and everything. I love how you said that. I'm going to have to write that down because it was brilliant. I loved it. So there's only one. There's only one power. There's only one presence. There's only one quantum field. So quantum physics in a nutshell says there is a particle, and that's that which is observed. It's the material realm. It's the relative world. It's that which we see, that which we experience. Those are the particles. But every particle is only a particle because we observe it. But opposite, both and, paradoxically, the quantum is the wave of all that is. So in the infinite, everything is possible. And when we focus on something, it's like we draw it down into the physical, and that's the particle. So in the wave, it is all that is. It is our one power, our one presence. Principle number 2, excuse me, is that we all have that Christ potential within us. That every single person on the planet has that Christ potential within us. Now, when I came into Unity, excuse me, in the mid 80s, I thought that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I loved it, and it jazzed me and it juiced me. But what I came to realize very early on, certainly by the time I was ordained, is that's not enough, because what I noticed was that I had a thought, which then in turn became a belief, which then in turn became a pattern, a program that said, oh yeah, later on, maybe the end of my lifetime, or maybe a dozen lifetimes from now, or whatever, later on, maybe I can get kind of close to having that potential realized, because it's right here, it's right now. And in the quantum, it already is. And when we land into that potential, but we pivot it from potential to responsibility, feel that. Yeah, we have the Christ potential within us. Someday, maybe, kind of, sort of. That probably won't happen for me, because I have my whole list of reasons why that's not going to happen for me. But we pivot that, we quantum leap it, we allow a different possibility. Says, oh wait, that's our responsibility. Our world needs that. And we're the ones, because we already teach it. It's not a leap, but it is up to us to activate, to allow, to grow into, to awaken to the truth of this. The truth of the principle that says we are Christ. Now, some of us are going to go, oh, that's too far out there. But it is a principle, and it's paradoxical in that, yes, we are human, and we're having a human experience on this planet, in this body, but we are so much more than that. So it's like the law of gravity is paradoxical a bit to the law of aerodynamics. The law of gravity says everything falls to the earth, and that's how we stay on this planet as it's spinning through space. But the law of aerodynamics says we use the law of gravity so that we can fly in these airplanes. How does that happen? Who dreamed that up? But we do it, and we do it all day long. So we embrace our humanity as we explore our divinity. And it's paradoxical in that the more we embrace our humanity and all that that means, the quicker we realize our divinity. Einstein said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. That's true for every single issue on the planet. It's true of racism. It's true of climate change. It's true of our political systems, our government systems, our health systems. It's true of our relationships, our own personal health. It's true of our wealth. It's true of absolutely everything on the planet. And the reason being is we are vibrational beings. We are vibrational beings at our core, having a human experience. When we try to solve a problem at the level that it was created, it's particle to particle. You're trying to change one particle, say that big rock, that's right in your way, that big boulder. You're trying to change that from the level that it was created, which is near impossible, not impossible, near impossible. But as soon as we access the quantum, we take that particle as an idea, from the particle to the wave, and then everything's possible, and we can transcend that boulder into the pathway. Charles Fillmore said in the Atom Smashing Power of the Mind, which is a fabulous book. If you haven't read it, take a look. Atom Smashing Power of the Mind. He was very much interested and fascinated by the idea of atoms as a part of our cells. That's tiny little particle of substance and the enormous amount of energy locked up inside of it. At times he thought that energy locked up inside the atoms of our very cells is the essence of our spiritual energy. It's spirit mind itself. Isn't that cool that Charles already thought that? I mean, science today says, well, yeah, that's obviously true, but in Charles's day, it wasn't that true yet. So he was on the edge. So frequency is measured in hertz, Hertz. Vibration is energy, is measured, I don't know, measured, but defined by like quality of being, like what's your emotion, how do you feel? That's how we define our vibration. Frequency and vibration go hand in hand. So a couple of jokes, just because I have to. The doctor said, does your migraine come at regular frequencies? I go, yeah, it really hurts. Hertz. Why can't humans hear over or under a certain frequency? It hurts too much. And one more. At what frequency does laughter become painful? 1 giggle hertz. I know I can hear you groaning from here. You're all muted. All right, principle number 4. Haha, David goes, haha. Our 4th principle is that we connect with that which we call God through prayer and meditation, affirmative prayer specifically, and meditation. We make that connection with that which we call God from this place. So Charles goes to headquarters. We already mentioned that. He goes to the quantum. Myrtle discovered that she was greater than her experience, greater than the experience she was having in her body. She was reaching for the quantum. She had a glimmer of it and she reached for it. Charles was reaching for it, not like grasping, but like getting still. And when we get still, when we do true prayer and get still, even if the monkey mind's running up here or loopy mind up here, it's okay, because you just pay it no mind, pay no attention to it. But when you access that point of stillness, you actually not even touch the quantum, but you can become the quantum. Charles said in the Atom Smashing Power of book, he said, true prayer is about being an exalted radiation of energy. And when it is accompanied by faith, judgment, and love, the words of truth burst forth in a stream of light that, when held in mind, illumine, uplift, and glorify. Like, Charles said some really cool stuff. Sometimes you have to sort through, you have to like plug away to get to some of the gems, but there's so many gems in this particular book. And all of that, when it's accompanied, when you land in that point of stillness, right? When you land in that deep place of prayer, you come into coherence. You come into resonance, you come into alignment with the truth of all that is. Emily Cady, one of our early teachers, talked about the absolute, which is our essence, our true soul essence, and the relative, which is the world we see. It's that crossover point that gives us that line up place. And every time you line up there, miracles can happen. Rumi says, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you, and do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Do not worry if your life is being turned upside down. That's a good thing. When we sit in the silence, it accesses a point of consciousness. It accesses a new dimension of consciousness, actually, that you begin to see the world from a completely different perspective. You begin to be in the world from a completely different place of being. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if you want something different than what you have to be different vibrationally. You have to be different first. You do not think your way into a new way of being, but you live your way into a new way of thinking. Principle number 5, practice, practice, practice. It's the power of the other 4 principles. I like to say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? I know a lot of people use that. It's a common phrase. Well, my friend, her name is Denise Lee, and she's out of the Dallas area, and she just got to sing in Carnegie Hall, lifelong dream of hers, but she didn't even know she had a dream. Like, she couldn't even allow herself to dream that dream until she got invited. And she got invited by this completely random, think paradoxical, synchronous, think paradoxical situation, series of things that all came together that she said, oh my God, I just got invited to sing in Carnegie Hall like next week. And she got there and she got to do it. And it blew her away. Now, she didn't sit at home, go, I wish I could live there. I wish I could sing there. I wish I could go there, but that'll never happen. This is our monkey mind, but that'll never happen because right? No, she just lined up with the truth of her being. She just lined up with her soul essence. And because she has said yes to life and the universe and source and spirit for decades, when that opportunity came around, she grabbed it. She was there. She was already there. And so being lined up, being connected to our greater self, if you will, is what opens the way to action. It opens the doorways. It gives you an impulse. It gives you the actions. It's like, oh yeah, I can do this and this and this and this. And then everything changes. If we want to change any aspect of our reality, we have to think, we have to feel, and we have to act in new ways. We have to be different vibrationally in terms of our responses to experiences. And so the 5 principles actually fully support and lift up quantum mechanics, quantum theory, quantum field. And the quantum, in my experience, enlivens our principles in ways that as we embody them, as we integrate them, our lives get better and better and better. We are at a time on our planet where we need to awaken. Our planet needs us. We're the ones, we already know the principles. We're the ones. It's our responsibility to do that. And as we do that, we discover this place of oneness. But as we land in and line up with oneness, that's not the end. That's actually the beginning. And from the place of oneness, what comes is a sense of allness, a sense of allness. All people, all situations, all circumstances, all of our planet, all of the universe, allness. And when we begin to catch a glimmer of what's possible when we're living in and through and as that place of allness, we can consciously co-create the world that we want. Because of the quantum, we realize that we are so much more than we can ever even imagine. When we leap out of what we know into the unknown, what we discover is simply brilliant. It's our biggest, boldest, most brilliant becomingness. It's beautiful, it's love, it's compassion, it's kindness, it's innovation, it's creativity. It is a world that works for all people. Science, in particular, quantum science, is giving us language for that which spirituality has known for eons. And yet there's more, because we are ever evolving. Become the source. Become one with the quantum. Allow yourself to dream big and consciously create a world that works for all people. It's time. Will you join me? God bless you.
There's no space that His love can't reach. There's no place where we can't find peace. And there's no end to amazing grace. Take me in with your arms spread wide. Take me in like an orphan child. Never let go, never leave my side. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. There's no space that His love can't reach. There's no place where we can't find peace. And there's no end to amazing grace. Take me in with your arms spread wide. Take me in like an orphan child. Never let go, never leave my side. As I am holding on. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. I am holding on to you. I am holding on. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on. In the middle of the storm, I am holding on.
So let's just go to a time of meditation. So as we have centered ourselves, begin to bring your awareness deep to the center of your being. With each breath, feel your awareness dropping deeper down through your body, from your body into your being. And imagine yourself finding yourself in the center of the core of your own being. It might show up today like a cave. the cave of your soul, the cave of the quantum, the cave of infinite possibilities. And in this dark cave, there's nothing but safety. And as you sink into this space, you discover a light. It's almost like a flame from a match. And as you focus on that light, on that flame, see it expanding from a match flame to a candle flame, expanding more to become a lantern flame, expanding that light even further. Becomes like an overhead light, illuminating that space of the cave. And as this light illuminates the cave, you discover that there is no separation between you and the light, that you are light. And as you continue breathing in and through, and as this light, it encompasses your entire body, your entire being. So that as before, it was inside the cave in your body, in your heart, in your soul, now you are inside this light. And feel that light expanding even further to encompass the room you sit, to encompass and enfold each one of us here on the Zoom or even on the recording later. That all of us are inside this single light that is us and so much greater than us. And we allow that light to continue to expand as we put our awareness on it, and it rises up and touches every other light on this planet, encircling, enfolding, enveloping our entire planet. You might imagine seeing our little blue globe called planet Earth deep in the center of all this light. Breathe into the light, expand the light, become the light. And as we become light, we become quantum. As we become quantum, we line up with all that is. Feel that expanding your heart, your mind, your very being. Feel that expanding your soul and connecting us all. Place your hands over your heart if that's comfortable, and say to yourself, I am light. I am the quantum potential of all that is and all that is becoming. I am. Notice what you notice. Feeling that light encircling the globe and coming all the way right back around and entering you once more, filling you, opening you, becoming you. Take a deep breath in. I am light. I am light. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one in the spirit. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one in the spirit. We are one. We are one. We are